You disgust me since the first day I met you. My daughter-in-law said at the engagement dinner. I smiled and waved at the host. Then a video started playing in the hall, and she froze at the table. Pratt 3. When he looked up, his eyes were heavy. Look and build a case. He said, but it'll take care in time. I don't want revenge. I told him. I want protection. And that's what we built. We rewrote the will first. Logan was removed entirely. Every dollar, every possession, every corner of my life redirected to a children's shelter across the county line, the same one Charles used to donate to each Christmas. It felt right. It felt clean. Then came the equipment. Tiny audio recorders that could be hidden in books or coat pockets. A small camera that looked like a decorative wall hook. Mr. Ellison showed me how to activate each one. Every night, I labeled the files by date. Every morning, I listened for evidence. Logan and Sienna made it easy. They talked freely when they thought I wasn't listening. They mentioned price quotes on my furniture, deadlines for when the old woman would be out of the way. They even joked about how I had no clue. I gave them what they expected. I shuffled slower. I nodded more. I told Sienna I was thinking about downsizing and asked Logan to help me look at nursing homes. Only Grace saw through it. She stopped by one afternoon with a plate of lemon squares and didn't leave until I told her part of the truth. You sure you know what you're doing? She whispered. I've never been more sure, I said. And when the engagement dinner invitation came a weeder, I knew exactly how the story would end. Logan broke the news casually, like he was telling me the weather had cleared. Sienna and I set a date, he said, buttering toast one morning without looking up. We're having an engagement dinner in 3 weeks. She wants it to be formal. I nodded as if this was expected. He cleared his throat. She also wants you there. It'd mean a lot if you came. I smiled just enough to be polite. Of course. That night, I called Mr. Ellison. I need one more favor. I told him. I want to make a video. Something they'll never forget. The video editor he found was a quiet man named Derek who worked mostly on divorce depositions. He didn't ask questions when I handed him the recordings, just nodded and said, I've done worse. We met 3 times in a borrowed office at Mr. Ellison's firm. I gave Derek a flash drive with Logan's baby pictures. His first birthday, kindergarten graduation. Him on Charles's shoulders at a 4th of July parade. Derek blended them with soft music and titles like, A Mother's Love. Then the tone shifted. He overlaid the next segment with audio, Logan's voice saying, I wouldn't know what was happening. Sienna laughing about selling my belongings, phrases like, she already signed. She can't back out now. He paired their voices with time, stamped screenshots, scanned bank documents, and the pink ink letter I had nearly torn in half. The final slide was plain white text on a black screen. This is the truth about Logan Wells and Sienna Moore. Derek sat back when it was done, eyes tired. The plate clean. I've got it timed to cue on a click. Good, I said. When Logan asked if I wanted to say a few words at the dinner, I shook my head. I surprise, I said. Something for the memory books. He looked relieved. Sienna didn't ask a single thing. The night before the dinner, I laid out my dress, dark green velvet. The one Charles always said made me look like I walked out of a novel. I polished my mother's old pearl earrings and set them on the vanity. Then I stood in front of the mirror, stared into my own face, and said aloud to the quiet room, tomorrow, I stop being silent. And that next night, when I stepped into the hall, I wasn't anyone's mother. I was something else entirely. The banquet hall shimmered with soft gold lights strung above linen, draped tables. Glasses clinked. Heels tapped across polished floors. Laughter floated up toward the ceiling. I sat between Logan and Sienna at the front table, smiling like any mother would on a night like this. Sienna stood, lifting her champagne flute. Her dress clung to her like a secret. Thank you all for being here, she began, voice smooth and bright. We're so lucky to celebrate this next chapter with our closest friends and family. The room quieted. She turned to face me, her smile still painted on. And I want to give a special thanks to Nora, my future mother-in-law. She's shown so much courage and grace in making space for our new life together. Her tone dipped just enough to draw attention. Not every woman her age would be so self-aware and willing to step aside. A few guests glanced at me, unsure how to react. Logan looked at his plate. I didn't move. I just nodded, slowly folded my hands in my lap, and held my smile. Here's to fresh starts. Sienna finished, raising her glass. There was a hesitant wave of applause, light and uneven. I turned slightly and gave a single deliberate nod to the MC. The lights dimmed. Ladies and gentlemen, the MC said. The groom's mothers prepared a short video in honor of the couple. A few polite murmurs.